Hello, hello. I think we should be live. I'm on an iPad today rather than like a normal one. So hopefully you can see me. I'm just going to check. But if you want to know, this is the Fast Track FBA YouTube live, just to really support you guys in your businesses. And obviously, if there's anything I can help you with, then obviously do ask questions. I can see already there's a couple of questions come in, which is great. But let me just kind of double check that we're actually live on YouTube. So I'm just going to kind of do this now. Fast. I'm just on my phone, just checking. I just want to make sure we are actually live. Yeah, cool. I can see myself. Fantastic. Cool. I'm going to be a little bit kind of quiet again today. I'll say again. I've been traveling over the week. Last week I was over out in the US and fortunately got a really bad throat, so I might not talk so much. So just let me know. And the one thing I will say is, my God, it's hot in this WeWork little phone booth. So let's kind of go through, let's kind of jump some questions in. I'm on my iPad, so we'll kind of see how it goes. So good afternoon, Richie Resales. Hey, Richie, how are you? How can I help you? So let's kind of have a look through. So Richie Resales, you mentioned previously you have 3 Amazon accounts. Yep. I have one, which was previously a personal account I converted into LTD. Do you think it's worth, I'm guessing, trying to reopen a personal one again as some sort of protection against the risk of only having one account? How would you go about it? What do you okay, so a couple of things, and like I had a conversation with someone about this previously. So a couple of things for you to really think about. You can have more than one Amazon account. That is, as long as it's a legitimate business purposes, and that's got to be crystal clear. Now, the thing for you to think about, and I'm just going to get this right, so I can relax, is for me, I have 3. So I have one UK personal, one UK LTD, and one US LLC. So they're all different business entities. Remember, I'm not my business is not me. I'm a person. So I create one for myself. We don't sell through that. It's just for training. Like, we use it for other purposes. There's no transactions, no sales, no nothing. It's never sold anything ever. This one, obviously, we do sell through the UK LTD and the US LLC. So long story short is, particularly around risk diversification, if you get so 2 elements to think about. Number one, if you get suspended from if you get suspended for like fakes, IP complaints, etc., then what I've seen is that you'll get banned in that region. So there's a guy who I know called Seth who sells books. He's banned in the EU, but he can still sell in the US under the same seller account. Like if he goes over to the UK, it'll be like uneligible to sell, I think it is, but he can't sell because he was flipping eBay stuff. So that's one. Now, my kind of view on it is I like to have 2 separate entities. There's a couple of reasons why: cashback, loans, etc. Also, it just makes it a bit easier. The other one really is, if you were, I'm not looking, but if you were able to sell them, they're separate entities. But I think also as well is to say that you do get an element of protection from like automated bots, i.e. if the bot suspends you, then you've got the other account and it shouldn't be affected. But the one thing which I'll say is it's the same passport across all of them. So if you do something really, really bad, then yeah, Amazon's just going to find out who you are and find all the other accounts and go, remove. So just be careful with that. So like, yes, it gives you an element of protection, but like it isn't as good as we think. We still only have 1 customer. So I hope that makes sense. So thanks for your time. No problem. Hey, I really enjoy doing these. Like, I enjoy giving back. Like, a lot of my YouTube videos are just kind of one-to-one. So it's nice to answer questions. And hey, I'm still learning. Like, my God. And also, it's kind of like me being in touch. Like, my God, I'm in Mexico. Like, sometimes it can be quite lonely. So, Broski, I'm planning to try a digital nomad lifestyle next winter whilst continuing to scale my own business. Could you give me some tips on how you talk about UK credit cards? What should I look at now? Cool. I think number one, it's really hard work. It is like, so the way I think about it is the mindset I'd kind of use is you still work a 9 to 5, but on the weekends you get to go and enjoy the place you're living in. That's the best way to think about it. Like, use time boxing, be very regimented with like, I have to work between like 9 and 5, for example, fix that time. As you get better, you can start moving it around. But you've always got to be allocating time to your business, otherwise it won't grow. It'll decline. I saw that in Thailand. And then the other ones like credit cards, we just use standard credit cards all the time. There's lots of different like services you can use and things. We do go into them in the VA Academy, and there's a new course that I'm releasing, which is it's only like £99. How to get started selling on Amazon USA, and in there we do have a solution for like doing one-time factor authentication you know, if you're kind of like abroad or like with your VAs, so, or like when you're not in the country. So like obviously I'm in Mexico, I can get US texts and US numbers, but I don't. I have a Mexican number, so I can still get the text, but I get it through email effectively, and there's a way to do that. So we talk about that. That'll be kind of released on Wednesday, I think it is. Look in the Facebook groups, you'll see that. So pretty much should be around Wednesday. But I think for you, you know, my tips, credit cards are not a problem. I'm still a UK taxpayer. I'm still technically a UK resident. I don't live in Mexico, while I technically do by all like banking. I am a resident of the UK, and I have that because otherwise it makes getting credit a lot harder. I have a friend who's a Panamanian. He's a UK national. He's now moved to Panama, or resident of Panama. Yeah, so basically he can't open any more credit accounts in the UK. It's really, really challenging. So yeah, manage your time really well, and just you know, you'll be fine with credit cards. I still can open credit cards now, so there's no problem. New to this, so anxious to learn. Cool. Hey, welcome to joining. Thanks for sharing. Question for you, Laurie. I'd ask is, what's the biggest worry you've got right now? What can I help you with? And then, ironically, it's probably not gonna. It's probably not to do something. It's probably a mental belief that you're like it's impossible or something. So if it's shared down below, if there's anything I can help you with. Mark, I'm a newbie. I just want to know how to compute ROI manually without using tools. Thanks, Tom. So the way I kind of interpret ROI, and there are some tools I'm not going to name who have like different ways of doing it. I don't think that's right. I think there's one way. Quite simply, is ROI is return on investment. So it's profit divided by how much you invested, which is cost of goods. So you know, say for example, I made £5 profit and I spent £10 on an item. You know, it'd be 5 divided by 10, which equals 50% ROI. That'd be it. It gets a little bit more complex when you have things like VAT. You'd need to take the VAT off the buy price and the sell price, so the cost of goods and the sell price. But again, you know, it's the same calculation. So yeah, just ROI. It's your gross profit from that item divided by cost of goods. Hope that makes sense. Restay. Hi Tom. Why do you think the ROI you can achieve is higher in the US and the UK? Good question. I think the question is it's not like I think it's what we're seeing. I think that's a better way to put it. It's not like I'm guessing and I'm like I think you can get higher. I do see higher ROIs in conversations in the US, you know, in general, but then there's a lot more people, so it could just be that I'm seeing the anomaly. But I think from when we look at both my UK and my USA business, and I do have to, you know, I have to be a big caveat here. In my USA business is technically doing 1/10 of what the UK business is doing, you know, and that's not even factoring in currency exchange. That's literally in the last 12 months, the US has done 300,000, in the UK we've done 3 million. So yeah, it's a big difference. But when I just look at those numbers, I do see better ROIs in the US. There's a wider range of products, more opportunity. You know, it's a bigger marketplace. You just look at gross revenues across Amazon platforms or marketplaces. The US is bigger, but I think there's probably more opportunity for that. So yeah, I just think it's not saying as why do I think, it's what I'm seeing. The one thing which I will say is the ROI in the US is higher than the UK, but I will put a very big caveat there. The speed of inventory, i.e. how quick to buy something and get it sold, is a lot slower in the US. So don't ever just look at ROI in isolation. If you really want to get a good comparison, you should look at what's known as annualized ROI. That's a conversation for another day, but that's my thoughts on it. About to cough. 2012 MJP. Hello. What is your advice for starting off in terms of faster growth? It seems to make sense to spend more in viable stock in order to get a larger return than reinvest in. Look, yeah, at a very fundamental level, the more you spend, in theory, the more you make. You know, if I spend $1,000 or I spend $10,000, I'm going to make. You know, if you're going to buy something for $10 and sell it for 20, you'd obviously make more revenue and ultimately more profit by spending 10,000. But the one thing you need to really kind of just say there is that assumes that your underlying baseline knowledge about what is a good deal and what is a bad deal is correct. You know, it isn't like you can pick any old random product and then 50% of the time it's going to do well. No, like 99% of the market that we know is not profitable. So you have to be like, what do you call it? You know, that's because sourcing's hard. So get good at sourcing, understand that, and then you're in a good place. So my kind of, everyone talks about like how much you've done in the first 30 days. I think it's possibly bad advice because it's pushing people to spend all the money, invest it all straight away, and go for big goals. And you're going to make mistakes. My God, we still make mistakes today, but the mistakes are small. So the concept comes is, if it was my advice, is the first 3 months is just spend time learning about what's working and what's not. And then once you feel confident that you can actually turn a profit, then throw all your money at it. But there's no point throwing all your money at something where you're not even sure if you're making profit or not. And by the way, the nice orange bars, they're not profit, they're just revenue. So yeah, hope that makes sense. But if you're new, is risk? Yeah, my God, business is inherently risky. Something like, I think in the UK, 4/5 of all businesses, 80% of all businesses will fail in the first 2 years. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's true. So I think, yeah, definitely. And again, you've highlighted it there. Risk is inherent. Your goal is to minimize the risk. How do you do that? By gaining experience. So gaining experience in a micro game first, invest 1,000, figure it out, and then turn it around and say, cool, I now know what I need to do to make it to 10,000 or to invest 10,000 profitably. So good question, but thanks. Dan Smith, yes, live. Thank you, Dan. Mark Evans, hi Tom, can you explain how to compute ROI manually, just looking at the prices for that tools? I think I've explained that one earlier. Bronsky, also from experience, digital nomad lifestyle, while scaling away Southeast Asia or South America, any particular place you'd recommend? I was in Vietnam, and I won't lie, it was super cheap. I go to a cheap country, and the reason is the more money you have to. Like, don't get me wrong, going to another country is super cool. Like, it's really cool. You want to go and explore it, and that costs money. So the more expensive the country, the more money you're going to spend. I was in Thailand and I did Vietnam, so like they're super cheap countries. So I'd probably recommend them. I liked Chiang Mai. I really liked Chiang Mai. I thought it was a super cool environment. Just don't go and get drunk every night like I did. That's what I'd say. It's a balance, and I just got drunk, so really bad. But being around digital nomads is really cool. The one thing you'll probably find is there'll be a lot of Amazon sellers that are all private label as you travel. They aren't away. Like, no one really does this. Even wholesalers don't do it. They have warehouses, so it's a very different lifestyle thing. But yeah, like South America, I've not really done. And I just do Chiang Mai. Oh, sorry, dropped my pen. I just do Chiang Mai because it's a really good community. So if you want a top tip, any country you're looking at, go to Facebook, type in like Thailand digital nomads or Brazil digital nomads. Look at the group, join the communities today, and see what they're like, and start conversing. Like, hey, I'm thinking of coming. What do you recommend? Da, 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 da. You'll start to see about the community before you go. Another one of the website is called nomadlist.com. I love that website. Absolutely love it. It's super cool. I got the lifetime subscription, so like $100. Really worth it. Next one. What to do immediately when received an IP complaint, infringement complaint, or any other related complaint? Yeah, like my God. So first things first is stop, breathe, read the complaint properly. Make sure you get the right documentation, like invoices. It proves that you've actually paid for it, not delivery invoice, delivery notes, or delivery orders, actual proper invoices. And then you can go back and speak to Amazon about the complaint. But like how you do the actual forms, like I don't even do myself, my team do it. We use a company called a guy called Jeff. It's fasttrackfba.com/Jeff. He does it, so he helps us out, but it does cost. It's like $100 a month, so just be aware of that, but it helps out. But yeah, you just take action, like it's hard. I won't lie, we got to 9 IP complaints in the US last week. We're back down to 5 now. So we removed 4. That, like, we got at risk. Our account went at risk. It was like, oh my God. But we're now back to normal. Let's kind of go through. Anthony Wolf. Does Keeper offer a facility to find products that are below 90-day average value? No Amazon show the beginning of an upward trend. Yeah. So just go to keeper.com, go to the data tab. You can do filters. So like Amazon off the listing 100%. 90-day buy, like you just do something like 90-day buy box today is greater than like yesterday. You'd have to like 50 and then like 50 today and then 40 previously, and then then you can kind of look at it. You're gonna have to play without doing it. You're gonna have to play, but yeah, Keeper does do it. You got to pay for the subscription, but it's worth it. Like, I think it's really good. Reverse sourcing you're doing there. How to deal with negative customer feedback and refund? Will Amazon send a refund through to my account automatically, or are there any other methods? FBA wholesale model. Unfortunately, if a customer doesn't like a product and they want a refund, they get a refund. The one thing which we'll just be very mindful of is you pay for that, by the way. Amazon don't refund you. They don't refund it back to your account. Amazon do refund it back to your account. Sorry, tell a lie. So if a customer wants a refund, Amazon will issue the refund immediately. Then I think they give the customer 30 days to return the product. Now, here's where things slightly go wrong sometimes. A lot of the time, the customer will forget to return the product, and Amazon won't reimburse you because the product hasn't been returned by the customer. So you need to chase that. There's like lots of tools. We use Seller Toolkit. It tracks that. It's quite useful. Doesn't cost anymore, I don't think. fasttrackfba.com/STK. That gets you there. Sierra Seller Toolkit STK. It's just a one-time, like a monthly subscription, not a percentage of returns. We really like it. Really good. Now the other one is the one thing you'll just be aware of returns. Amazon does what's known as refurbing, so they'll check the returns, and if they're good enough to put it back into new, they'll put them back into new. So while you might have like a 2-3% return rate, doesn't necessarily mean that's how many damaged goods you're getting. Some of them will be resold. Just be aware of that. So makes sense. Good question, Edwin. 1 second. Edwin Dunn, do you have a US credit card, and what's the process and time you took to qualify for one? Right now, no, we are getting one. Possibly, we might have one. Don't quote me. I think my Amex went through. I'm waiting for the card to actually arrive. And I will create some document. It'll probably be a mini course, which will be around, or very similar to like getting started on USA. Why? Because it is actually quite a complex process, and there's two challenges. One is, how do you do it without visiting the US? And if you visit the US, it's a lot easier. But like, there's a lot of stuff around payment process and the way it works. So credit cards are the one thing we want. So I'm really trying to figure out how to do it properly without visiting the US. So it's hard. Amex is one option we looked at, and might have worked. I've got so many Amex cards, so I don't know if it's definitely the USA one. But if you want to know, I've been trying now for the last like 4 or 5 months. It's been hard, but long story short, you need an ITIN. If that's get an ITIN, then you can go from there and start applying. But it's not easy. We will create a course around it, but because it's not easy, that's the point. If you can go into the US, you'll be fine. Good business trip. Mohammed, how do you get around authentication codes when traveling? Do you keep your UK phone number roaming? No, I've not been. Like, your UK phone number will drop off after about 3 months of not being registered in the UK. We have a solution. It's in the Fast Track FBA Academy, or on Wednesday we will be releasing a course, which we also have another solution. The course is only like £99, which is for getting started in the USA, and it will solve that problem as well. So keep an eye on that. That does solve that problem. So also in the VA Academy, it has the answer. But we have like multiple telephone numbers. So not only, but the solution we have is not only a text number, it also, you can send and receive phone calls and send texts out, which is super important, because a lot of time your bank's going to go like, hey, we think there's fraudulent activity, text us back one if this is authorized. And you're like, if you can't text back, you then got to call them and you're on wait, and it's like a palaver. So the solution we have but that'll be Wednesday. That's coming up this week. Laurie, how do you find a reputable person to inspect product from China? I have a product I'm looking for with a supplier in Alibaba. Great question, Laurie. Unfortunately, what you're doing is a private label model. I do online arbitrage. So I buy from Walmart, sell on Amazon. So we do nothing with China. I would really recommend, there's a website a group which I know from London called, 1 second, I'm just going to type it in. Scale for E-tail, I think it's called. Yeah, Scale for E-tail, not retail, but E-tail, no R. Look at those guys. They have like a Facebook group. Join their Facebook group, like just Scale for E-tail Facebook group. Join them, ask a question there. Those guys all do private label. They're really good. They're good people. They know what they're doing. And they'll give you some good advice. So I'd really recommend speaking to them. So sorry, Laurie, I'm not going to answer that because I don't know the answer and I can't really help you, but I can point you in the right direction. Hi Tom, I have 1,000 items in 1,000 item limit in FBA warehouses. How is the process? These limits depends on speed of sale, or how old your seller account is. What do you think? So it's all about speed of sale. So top tip for you, if you go to it sounds like you've only just started, so you probably haven't got any inventory. Start shipping some inventory in, give it 2 or 3 weeks, and then go to the menu bar in inventory. It'll be like inventory and then inventory planning, I think it is, and then on the right hand side you'll see something called days in inventory. and you want to try and get that below 60. Sorry, if you get that below 60, you're fine. You'll naturally get an increase in that speed of those limits. They'll just go up. I think we're like 120,000 right now. But for you, is because you've just started, you haven't really got a day's in inventory. And what does that mean? It basically means like if you didn't ship anything else in today, how long will it take for your stock to sell? And it's how many days. So if it's above 60 days, then it's taking too long to sell. You need to bring your price down. If it's over 60 days, then if it's under 60 days, then you're fine, and Amazon's happy. So then they'll give you more storage space. But what they don't want you to do is to have too much storage space to start with, because too many people are using the storage facilities. Let's go and jump through. I found a really fast selling product from an online website, but it was special discount that today now is not a suitable price. How can I get those selling products sustainably? How are you doing it? Great question. I think long story short is people talk about replenishables, replenishable models, replens, etc. Get out of your mind that you can buy products all the time for a great price. It just doesn't happen. Why? Because at a very fundamental level, think about it like, let's call it Nestle. Nestle make a cereal that we like to sell. Well, they might do a big production run, and when they do a big production run, they're going to ship it out. They're going to ship it to their suppliers and do a bit of a discount to get it selling. And then they might not. They're not always printing the same products. They might not print anymore for the next like 3 weeks. So then for the first week there'll be a sale, and then for the next 3 weeks there won't. So you're buying when there's a sale. But what do we understand is that Nestle will print the products for 1 week, then for the remaining 3 weeks they'll print different products, and then they'll go back and do it again. They're doing it on cycle. So the promotions always start on week 1, say, of the month. So what you're looking for is products that you can buy today that might not be available for another couple more weeks, and then you can buy again when they're on sale again. So it isn't you can always keep buying the same product over and over again. Life doesn't work like that. What you're looking for is the ability to find products whereby they're on sale, and then you can come back and rebuy them again when they're on sale next time. That's the important one. So I'd really recommend thinking of it that way. And if it gives you an idea, we track a replenishable item as any ASIN we've purchased more than twice in 2 months in a year. So anything we purchase more than twice in 1 year is a replenishable, because we appreciate that sales happen on and off. They're not always ongoing. Hope that makes sense. Laurie, thanks, appreciate it. Cool. Glad that's helpful. Sorry I couldn't help you directly, but I hope I gave you the right answer. Amit, cool. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Appreciate it's just me talking about myself. Oh, strawberry flavoured coffee today. How should we make VAT registration for pan-EU EFN? Can we do it from Amazon, which costs us €39, right? This service support us with the full VAT system warehousing. So, oh my God, this is complex. So, first things first. Number one, I speak to your accountant. Assuming you've got an accountant in the UK, because you're going to need one if you're going to go do that. Number two, you can use you just need to be careful. You said pan-EU and EFN. They're very different. They are different. Yes, they both sell in Europe, but they're different. EFN, the products are stored in the UK, for example, and shipped to Europe once they're sold. Pan-EU is storing them in Europe. So they are different. And EFN, you don't need to be VAT registered in the other countries, only your home country. That's the important distinction. So it's only for pan-EU do you need to be registered. So I think a lot of people say, speak to your accountant, also speak to Amazon. Amazon generally have a discount whereby they do the registration for you for free, or like for a very low cost, which works really well. And then you just leave them, use their service. And I don't think it's €39, right? It's something like 2,000 or something, or $600. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than it would be for yourself. And it's not easy, and then you're looking for like a service. So I'd speak to your accountant. If you want an accountant, we use e-commerce accountants. Just type that in for the UK. They do it all the time. They have a lot of clients who do this, and they can really help you. But I've had a chat with Joe, the owner, and he's like, he says all we do is the UK return, but we work with the agency who do the VAT returns to the other countries. So it's quite simple, but just the setup is the problem. So I'd really recommend professional advice, and that'll do your VAT for each country. And then once you're VAT registered, you can then store stock in those countries. And EFN and pan-EU are different. So just be careful. You don't need VAT registration in all the countries for EFN. You do for pan-EU. Do you directly send products supplied to Amazon warehouses? No, we don't. We send them all through our warehouse. Everything, nothing goes direct to Amazon. How can I get engaged selling in Amazon on USA and living in another country, asking for address and invoice? We just do our prep center. Like they're not like they've never been huge. Like so even like okay, so let's say for example even in the UK, like they don't do it to my house, never. I won't lie, we've never done ungating in the US. We've done it in the UK, and in the UK we just shipped it to the prep center. It was fine. Like, there's no issue. Like a lot of companies will have a head office in one place and then a logistics in another. That's absolutely fine. So I wouldn't worry. Yeah, we ship it to the prep center and they're happy. A lot of the time, the invoice from the wholesaler will have your office address and then the prep center address, which is fine. So it'll have two addresses, and Amazon should accept that. There shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, I think you're fine there. I don't really see a problem. I think you're just saying how do you get ungated basically because of the address on the invoice. That's not a problem. Just start getting ungated. How did the coffee detox go? My God, Thursday and Friday, the week before, I was about to die. Like I thought I was literally like, I'm so just want to sleep. I don't know. It's good. I'm not on coffee at the moment. I'm on tea. I'm drinking Twining's tea. Don't know. Just thought I'd mix it up. Also, one thing is your ability. Someone said it is like your ability to adapt to change is one of the key indicators of how happy you'll be in life. So if you just get used to having change all the time, it's fun. Which is why I like traveling. Traveling, great fun. It's hard, but it's great fun. But yeah, it was good. Thank you. Thanks, Richie. How's your coffee? Do you drink a lot of coffee, Richie? Let me know. Awas, Wyoming is a good state. Is Wyoming a good state for LLC in the USA? Any suggestions? You can. Generally, the two ones that you do in the US are Delaware and Wyoming. I think it is. The course we've got coming out on Thursday. It's generally like how to create an LLC for non-resident US people. So if you're looking to get started in the US, like it'll be good for that. Like it's only £100. But the idea is just it helps you, it tells you the whole process that I've gone through, everything that I've done. Lots of videos, screen shares. Like I really talk it through. We give you lots of options, what you need to do, who you need to speak to, the costs involved. Delaware and Wyoming are the two main ones that people go for. We went for Delaware, and I will share that with you now. And there's no like, I think it's just because there's more people doing Delaware than Wyoming. But it's not really a big issue. I just think there's more like documentation online about how to do it for Delaware, hence why we did it. So, but you can do it. Yeah, a lot of people have done it. I didn't personally. Broski. With more and more brands, wholesalers, and even brand distributors are selling via Amazon on their own, do you think OA will soon come to an end? Your honest thoughts, please. Wow, interesting. So let me put it another way. There are more and more brands every day being created than there have ever been. There are more brands in the world right now than there were 5 years ago, and there are more brands 5 years ago than there were 10 years ago. You know, brands are dying, definitely, but there are more brands being created. My God, I can literally go tomorrow and create a brand. Done. Fast Track FBA is a brand. There are more and more brands, and they create products, and a lot of them don't know what they're doing. So also as well, let's put it this way, Nike, I think I read this the other day, Nike in the US a year, 2 years ago said they're going to stop selling directly to Amazon. So not only are there more brands coming in, there are existing big name brands as well, and very little brands, which just stop doing direct dealing with Amazon. The net result is there's still opportunity. You know, so do I think it's going to come to an end? My God, no. If I did, I wouldn't be doing this business. You know, Fast Track FBA as a business helps Amazon sellers, and I would really not be trying to build a business which is helping Amazon sellers into an industry which is in decline. You know, like it's like, hey guys, come on everyone, let's start talking about horse transportation. Everyone here, when you get back to, we need to start doing horse transportation. Like, no, like we've got the car, we've got the electric car now. It's like, no, I think actually it's going the other way. Honestly, I generally do. I think there's more and more opportunity. Do you know of any other source for making Amazon FBA costs for other? Do you know any source for making Amazon FBA costs for other marketplaces? Is it correct to enter other marketplaces for every product you sell? It's up to you. I only focus on the UK. Don't get me wrong, we've done 3 million in the UK in the last 12 months, or 13, I think it is by my little thing. And I think for you is like, I think sometimes we get too caught up doing other marketplaces. The only thing you've got to think about when you're doing other marketplaces is if you're from UK going over to Europe, is two things. EFN and EFN has I think it's about £120 limit. It can't be over £120 when you buy it. And also as well, you need to remove the FBA fee and add in the EFN fee. And most of the calculators will have a little button that does that for you. So that will kind of help. So I don't really understand like costs. That's it. So I hope that makes sense. Do you do OA in the US too? Yes, we do OA, only OA in the US. We do wholesale now in the UK, but wholesale's tiny, like a few thousand. US is, I think we did 80K last month in online arbitrage, $80,000 sales. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, in the US. Good afternoon, Thomas. I hope you're all well. This is Ash, pallets on the driveway guy. Loving it. Hey, and obviously first-class flight tickets. So my question is, if you started all over again, what tools and services would you say are absolute minimum to get you started to go at least 10K sales month? Wow. Like I did an interview with Kev Blackburn about this. If I just do it very, very simply, obviously tools and services, I think at a very fundamental level, I would do like, I probably do SAS. I quite like SAS. It has the keeper chart in there, but I'd probably just get a keeper anyway. I'm really bad. Like, if I really started again, I'd hopefully living in the US and I could do RA for a while to really scale up. Merchant fulfilled sometimes, just grind. But I'm lazy. Like I just use VAs. I hire people. So to get to 10,000 sales a month, I just do RA. I don't think it'd be that challenging. Just SAS as well. It has this thing in the Keeper app. That'd be it pretty much. I'd be pretty happy with that. I have thought about that many times, and I was in the US the other day, and I was like, "Wow, there are so many shops here, like, and they're big. I mean, massive." And I was like, "There's so much opportunity for RA." So, yeah, that would be my thoughts. So, if not in the UK, do the same thing. But yeah, I wouldn't like. You're kind of like if it goes wrong, but like, yeah, I think at the end of the day, like for me, I'm just really bad. Like, I probably want to get a VA as soon as possible because I just find that. I will work really hard to get something, but once I've figured out how to get it, I'm just not really interested. I get bored, and my happiness is quite important. But it depends what you want. So fortunately, I'm not at that. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Great question, Ash, for people starting out. But even it's like a lot of people have a job and they're not really willing to hustle as hard, like every day RA non-stop. But I do think OA is a great way to scale. And obviously, I met a guy last week who's done 10 million in the last 12 months doing OA in the US. Crazy. Is your long-term plan to remain 100% with Amazon as your selling platform? Would you consider changing? I would definitely diversify. I'd never deny about that. I wouldn't leave Amazon. I think out of all the platforms, it's the best one. It's the easiest, and my God, I'm so heavily invested in it. We're looking at open Amazon Germany this year, but there's no harm in like, hey, why not look at like Shopify or like Walmart, for example? That'd be an easy option. Wholesale in the US, then go into Walmart, easy peasy. Like I would be well up for that. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Amit. Selling in the German marketplace, which is better to sell Amazon USA as well without that number? Can I pack many orders and send to warehouse in USA and warehouse sent by one is the easiest way? So Amazon USA doesn't need a VAT number, but if you are in the if you're in the German marketplace, Amazon USA doesn't need a VAT number because that doesn't work outside of Europe, so no problem. But obviously, if you want to reclaim the VAT when you're in Germany, by the way I understand it, is that you would need a VAT number in Germany to be able to reclaim it on export. Number two, I think you just get killed by the shipping fees from Germany to US on individuals. So personally, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's worth it unless you're buying some like really niche German products that people really want. But to do it at scale, I think you'd struggle. I really would. Like you can ship pallets over there, container loads, fine. But I just don't think it would work on like shipping individual items. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would just buy from US marketplace, use a prep center, and resell. That's it. Which is like, so I'd buy from US retailers to a prep center and resell. And you can do that through global marketplace, but I don't think, like for me, it's not the best way. Why? Because a lot of the reason why we created the whole course and the reason why I did the LLC in the US and the reason why we've got the course coming out on like Wednesday, Thursday, is because a lot of retailers won't accept international credit cards or international billing addresses, so you just can't get the orders through. So creating a US LLC makes it a lot easier. Also, so you get the cash back, and if you're going to grow your business, cash back is massive, especially in the US. Crazy. That's why we created the course. So my question is, if you start over again, what key tools does you develop to manage to get your things? Yeah, I think SaaS on a VA would be about it. Not really much more. Maybe a repricer, STK. That'd be it. Quite simple. Who do you look for in this industry for inspiration info? Um, it's a really great question. There's a really good question you asked for kind of like Power of Five. There's a guy I met last week. Is a guy called Trader Soros. If I get that right, he's part of Arbops. He's a guy who did 10 million. You can find him on Twitter. Cool guy, really cool. Went and met him, met his family, saw his operation. Um, I know what he does and how he works. I think it's very interesting. I think he's doing some really cool stuff. I do like Gavin Sweeney. I think what he's doing is really cool. I think he's very smart and very switched on as well. And the one thing which is interesting, I chatted with the guy Trader Soros as well. He did 10 million, and this is in the OA space, by the way. I'm just talking about now is that there are a lot of people who are doing less revenue than us who are doing the game better. So I wouldn't ever just look at people who are bigger. Look at people who are like doing something different. That works very interesting. So I look at that. I'm still kind of umming and ahhing, like finding, and I think also as well, you get to the point whereby it's, if you were to do 10 million or 20 million, would it make you any happier, and would it be worth the hassle? Maybe, maybe not. Like, could some people are quite happy with smaller operations and they're just easy to manage. And we are growing. Like I'm more doing diversification as opposed to trying to scale to the moon. So, but it takes time. It takes time. And when I look at like the successful sellers, their bar charts, the lines on the graph, they go kind of like up, up, up. If I do it here, up, 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 and it takes time to go up. And the bigger you get, the slower it takes to jump. But it's very interesting to watch. If you see people like up, down, up, down, up, down, they really got it very. I'd personally say I don't think they've got it very consistent, but I might be wrong. There will be exceptions. Outside of that, I do think Amazon Lit's doing a really cool job. They're like absolutely smashing at 50 million. I think it's cool, but then obviously they do the warehouse model, and that's not for me. But I think also even outside of that game is like, if you only ever like, let's just put it this way: if you only ever knew me, if you thought Tom was like the guy I look up to and he's doing 3 million in the UK, like that's amazing, then that's your ceiling, if that makes sense. But if I were to show you tomorrow someone doing 30 million, and I've heard of OA sellers doing 30 million, by the way, then you're like, whoa, like Tom's like just a fraction of what they're doing. I thought Tom was big, no, it's not. And then it starts to change the game and your mindset. And I think a lot of this is about mindset. So a lot of this year for me is about changing mindset. So good question, really good. And I think for you, the question is understand your why, understand what you want, understand who aligns. And then when you look at someone else who's really doing well, take from them what you want, but don't take the whole thing. Like Eric from Amazon Lit, he said like he worked so hard once he nearly lost his foot. Like they went to hospital and they're like, you're lucky to have your foot because he had so many problems. And I was like, I wouldn't go that far. Like I like my life too much, and especially my foot. So yeah, good question. Hope that makes sense. Just joined in. Any secrets to finding online arbitrage deals? No, my God, I wish there was. And if there was, I wouldn't share them because it's only 17 people right now, but like 400 people who watch the replay. Everyone would hear it. I do BrickSeek, and I just look at clearance on websites every time I see any secrets. If you ask me, look, there are no real secrets. There are ways which work better than others. There's not like a secret sauce like this is going to make you a millionaire, get rich quick schemes. If you ask me, the secret, if you really want to ask the secret, is building good systems, big processes, and then being able to scale. And what we're trying, if you just talk about like, why do people like the wholesale model? Because the concept behind it is you find one product, you buy it, and then you keep selling it for the next year. And then every week your job is to keep finding another product. So by the end of the year, you have like each product makes you £1,000 profit. Like by the end of the year, you've got £52,000 worth of profit coming in every month. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That sounds great. And that's the idea. It's compounding. So in OA, we understand that we can't find a product today and keep buying for the rest of the time. That doesn't work. But what we can do is we can find the people who find the products and do that, and then we can compound that. So, for me, and the way I've looked at my business is about building the teams, building the people. So if I were to say the secret is to build teams. That's it, and that's all I've done. I just build teams. I think right now we're like 75 across 3 companies. But UK is only like 15 staff. So definitely, I think build teams. That's going to really help you out. That's the secret. and it's going to help with time consuming. Wild Oak. Oh, Wild Oak. I've currently got a personal seller account on Amazon. Is it possible to convert the business in the same name once I set up to LLC? Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Speak to Amazon. Just say, hey, I want to transfer my Amazon selling account from my personal thing. You might want to. I've not done it personally. You might want to do it in a US focus group. Just ask on Facebook, like, hey, I want to convert my personal selling account over to my LLC. How do I do it? You can create an LLC in the name of your store. That's fine. And then I think Amazon let you do it. They do it in the UK, so I don't see the problem. So, yeah. When should I get an accountant? Preferably before the end of the first year. What I'd recommend. You don't need it at the very beginning. And obviously, if you're not like, I'd probably say at least like, I'd probably say I do like 3 months before the end of the first year. Now, the reason why is that the moment the first year finishes, you don't have to file straight away. You do have a couple of months to file, depending on which country you're in. In the UK, it's about 10 months. But if you just start now, before the end of the first year, a full year of trade, they're going to give you some advice. And the idea is that they might tell you, hey, make sure you do this before the end of the year, because once you finalize the accounts, it just helps out. So that'd be my thoughts. Go shopping for an accountant. If you're doing a US, we've got the USA course. It's got 4 good accountants actually that we've done a lot of research for. A lot of people have recommended that we've got some good feedback on, and also my accountant as well. Riza, hi. What advice for aspiring seller and living outside the United States? Buy, figure it out. Like, it's really hard. Like, I'm not sure what your problem is. So like, I'm sure you're already like selling, or like obviously create the Amazon selling account would be to start with, and then like buy products and sell them. If you want to go down the route that I'm recommending, which is creating an LLC, you can. But I won't lie, it's going to cost you probably over $1,000 to get it started. It'll be like 1,000 to 1,500, which is not cheap. You got to create an LLC, get an EIN, get a set up with like an office. That's a big process. You can do it on a personal, remotely. There are pros and cons. It's cheaper, but I don't think it's as long term. But if you're just aspiring, and want to get started, no reason why you can't do it on your own. That's fine. If you, oh, by the way, Riza L, if you give us a bit more information, then obviously I might be able to help out. But what is it particularly that you're worrying about? At what point in your area journey you decide to outsource prep and sourcing? Which one did you outsource first? Prep first, like from the very beginning, very beginning, like absolute beginning. I lived in a 3rd floor flat in London, very central London, where I had it was very hard to even unload our shopping, let alone to receive deliveries. Like, when like Tesco come along and drop off the shopping bags, like that was a challenge. So it just wasn't viable for me to start receiving goods. I won't lie, I've received a few, but like not many. But I pretty much did it from the beginning. I'm still with the same prep center, and that works. But I think for you I think sourcing is where you add value. Prep isn't. Prep is a process. It's just something. Like if you get good at prep, you prep a bit faster. If you're not good at prep, you prep a bit slower. At the end of the day, the result, the output is exactly the same. It doesn't add value to your business. It just saves you money, and you can only save money so far. You can't keep adding the value on top. You can gain a lot more by improving your sourcing. That's what I think. Thomas, do you have a mentor? No, but I do Tony Robbins coaching, so I'd probably say Tony is my mentor. He's not. I think I'm going to go meet him this year, which is going to be nice, in Florida later on. What's your honest opinion towards the future of this industry in general, say by 2030? My God. Okay, so let me put it this way. I just want to share this. The guy I met on, when you go to a job interview, what's your 5 to 10 year plan? My God, the guy I met like last week, Trader Soros, he's done 10 million in the last 12 months. He started 2.5 years ago. Like, when you talk about timelines out to 2030, like that's 7 years in the future. By that time, this guy would have probably done 100 million in total revenue. Like, and there's no reason why someone couldn't do, let's say 1/10, 10 million. So like, even if I were to tell you the industry is going to die by 2030, well, my God, you could do 10 million in sales, 10% profit margin, you're going to make $1 million cash and learn a lot of skills. That's a win. Even if I were to tell you by 2030, the business is going to die. It's not, by the way. I really don't. I think it's going to go the other way. I think you're going to see the rise of more people doing this industry. I generally believe that. Hence why I've invested in it. But yeah, by God, like my kind of strategic plans are going out 2 to 3 years tops, and I think that's pretty far. I'm getting quite scared. Like 2 to 3 years, lots of stuff can happen. So yeah, like my honest opinion, I think you're fine. Like I'm in this. Like we're opening up hopefully another company by the end of the year, um, in Germany. Like yeah, definitely 100%. There's so much opportunity, so much opportunity. I think we need to understand that and take advantage of it. Um, yeah, like and even if like my God, like if someone told you now, hey, Bitcoin, by the way, like if someone told if you knew what you know now about Bitcoin before the rise, would you have like would you invest in it? Of course you would have done, even though you know it might go down. Of course, but there's opportunity. Opportunity never lasts forever. That's the point. Right, 2 seconds. Sorry, I think my girlfriend. Yay. Great, all good. Yeah, so we went away, and unfortunately we came back yesterday, and our suitcases didn't come back with us, so they've just arrived now at the apartment. So it's great. Okay, Brotty, do you only purchase from retailers that issue VAT invoices, or anything goes wrong as if possible? No. Oh my God, it doesn't matter. Like, if you can make profit without reclaiming the VAT back, then sure. Um, but all our calculations include VAT, so we have to make sure we can get the VAT invoices. So I don't know the names of the suppliers, but there are some suppliers whereby we haven't been able to get VAT invoices and we've stopped buying from them. So I think that's something to consider. Yeah. So no, we don't. But we want to make sure we can get VAT invoices because that's part of our reclaiming taxes, which is a pain. SS. Hi, how are you building up your reviews on Amazon FBA? Are you getting them all organically or do you do other techniques? There's a video I created. We do them organically now. We don't need to, I think we got over 1,000. Um, there's a video I created called How to Get Reviews as a New Seller or something like that. It's using Seller Basics. Seller Basics. It gives you there's an affiliate link that I have. If you go fasttrackfba.com/tools, TOOLS, you'll see Seller Basics. You get a 2-month free Seller Basics. It's like profit and loss software, but also it does something really cool whereby it will send an email after every order to the person, which is great. And there's a video I did about this. And the reason why it's good is the fact that in that email, you can change it out from a product review to a seller review. So when they click review, they'll write the product review on the seller account, which is great and gives you 5 stars. #excited. So Seller Toolkit does that. Seller Basics does that, sorry. And it does it automated and it does it for 2 months. The one thing you just got to be careful about reviews is you cannot go, if you liked the product, give us a review. Because that means if you didn't like the product, don't give us a review. That's not allowed. That's against terms of service. You have to be very neutral. Like, hey, we'd love to hear a review. We're a small family business. Please give us a review here. You can't even say please give us a 5-star review because that's again guiding them to give you a 5-star review. You just ask for a review. That's it. So, but Seller Basics was really good. I used that, and that really helped me out to start with. And I think we did the same thing in the USA as well, and we're fine now. I think both accounts are 100% now over the last 90 days. Let's carry on. Why are VAT invoices important? So if you're VAT registered, the general thing is you pay when you buy something. You buy something you pay the price including VAT, and then what you do is you reclaim that VAT from that VAT that you paid on the products you purchased from the government. Now, you just tell them what you've paid. You don't have to prove it, but if they ever audited you, they'd want to see evidence that what you said was true, what you said you paid is true, and how do you prove that you actually paid the VAT to a company who was authorized to charge you VAT is by having a VAT number and the VAT number and showing the receipt or invoice. So VAT invoices are important to be able to prove it in the event that you were audited. And good accountants will challenge to say, hey, you shouldn't be claiming these back. You can't prove you actually ever paid VAT if you don't have the invoices. I hope that makes sense. And do you recommend getting interesting enough, it's not my place. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a professional. If you are in the UK, someone said, and I quote, not my accountant didn't say this, but it said, if you were to create your Amazon seller account as your personal first, then trade up to 84,000. It's about £85,000 revenue in 1 year. Sorry. And then what you can do is before you hit the VAT threshold, and obviously you have to start paying VAT, you can then convert that seller account over to create an LTD, and then convert that over to the LTD, and then the result is your VAT threshold resets because you're no longer it. What's effectively happening is you've got you as a business and then your business, and what you're doing is you're moving the seller account from you to the new business. Amazon will allow that because it's you're basically incorporating, but it resets the VAT threshold because they're now two separate businesses. So that makes the point. So I hope that makes sense. But if it was me personally starting again, I would do it personally, and then I'd create a limited company afterwards. So I wouldn't do it from the get-go. What are the usual categories to sell in the OA in the UK? Basically, we'll do like toys and games, beauty, health and personal care. I think that's about it. That's probably the one I'm missing. Grocery. That's the other one. They're the usual categories. We've done some videos on it. What's the time? We've got 9 minutes, guys. You've got questions? 9 minutes. Drop it down below. I will answer your questions. You've got 9 minutes. Right. I'm currently doing PL, private label, and wholesale, but I want to broaden my model into my Amazon business. Broaden my model from Amazon. My question is, how is it really possible to solely scale OA and RA with supply and competition? Well, quick question. I'm guessing you have competition in wholesale on the listing. Cool. Also, as well, you probably have supply issues whereby like they're not always available. I think at Amazon Lit, Eric said to me 50% of all his products are non-replenishable. Like they buy them, they won't be able to buy them again, which is quite interesting. And then also as well, why you don't have competition on private label individual listing, you do have them in categories and keywords that you're competing in. So there's always competition. There's always supply problems. My God, even now with the warehousing. So I think I talked about it earlier on. So that the someone asked me what's the secret to OA. My advances would be building teams which make it sustainable. So finding new products, pushing those products in. It's building teams. That's it. Like that's going to have the impact. So yeah, building teams is going to be the big part. That'd be my thing, and it is definitely to scale. My God, I'm doing 3 million. Someone I know doing 10 million US. Depends what your scale is. Can you do 100 million? Maybe. Don't know. How big is big? Do you do a billion? Billion in OA? I think you'd probably be better to buy from the retail manufacturers. Any books, podcasts, or others that you would recommend help you get your earn out, exclude the 4-hour work week? Oh, I do love that book. I think Venn Drive. I quite liked that. If you're into wholesale, I thought that was a really good podcast. Um, I think the guy who run that has done it consistently for a very long time. Not really. Like I just kind of talk, speak to people, communicate, network. The one thing you got to really understand is that the underlying, like, there are a lot of key principles which are going to work, whether they be today or maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago. They're just business principles. Like manage cash flow, motivate your team, high performing teams, do that. Understand your balance sheet, profit and loss, focus on high performing items, manage your time, cool. And then there's other ones which are, so that's one element of the equation, which you want to do kind of like for me, a lot of my time is like management. I read Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I love that. I absolutely love it. I'm really into Tony Robbins stuff right now, so I'm really getting into that with mindset, and I'm doing a lot of these events. So that's kind of like ongoing. But then you're going to have things about what's going on in the marketplace today. A really good example would be like buy swimming pools, flip them on merchant fulfilled. That was something that was massive like a couple of months ago. People were making 400% return on a $200 item. So there's two parts. One is kind of like evergreen and trending. Evergreen and trending. And you want to have a balance. So a lot of the old books are really good, and it really is about you, where you want to go and what you want to do. I saw SS mention Rich Dad Poor. I do really like that. I do like that. Also, as well, if you want to take that to a step further, play the cash flow board game. There's a guy in London, Jonathan, I used to play with. I played like 52 games with him. He does them like on Meetup, the website, and you can join those board games. I loved it. I played so much. It really made me think about money and how you use money and what you do. There's another game we played called Millionaire Maker, which was great. But it also, as well, it's not just about reading, it's about deploying and actioning that information. So I really like that. Getting out there, using it, having good discussions. Books and podcasts are what's known as you absorbing information. I personally think a lot of it is about discussing information, getting your head around it, going meet people, having like, hey, I'm reading this book. Should we meet up and talk about it? Like that kind of stuff is really, really important. Like I love having business chats. I think it's super exciting because you're learning so much. But yeah, I can't really tell you the answer because I don't really read books. So I watch a bit of YouTube. I just try and meet people and I watch what they're doing and I learn and I see and I think the biggest one you can do is observe, see what's going on, look for outliers, and then copy. That's it. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm doing other stuff. Right, 5 minutes. How do you deal with IP and authentic claims? We use a guy called Jeff. www.fasttrackfpa.com/Jeff. He helps us out. He creates the templates. Sometimes we reuse them. It's $100 a month. He helps. Pretty simple. Rich Dad Poor Dad, great book. Play Cash Flow, really good. Cash Flow 202, don't play. Not worth it. 101, really, really good. Love it. Get Out the Rat Race, absolutely love it. Really cool, fun, and makes you think about working together. There's so many different ways of playing that, and you have to play it at least like 20 times. If you think you've done it after 10, you haven't. Keep going. There's more you can do. More different ways you can figure it out. Challenge yourself. Any videos on using 0% credit cards to scale inventory spend? Not really. I haven't really done anything on that. I don't really know anyone else who has. Top tip for you, you generally get 0% yourself. If you want just a hack, and I've shared in a lot of my videos, is you've got a limited company and you've got a 0% credit card personally, don't go and buy the products from the 0% credit card yourself. Use you can go to like Stripe and create an invoice for your company. So I say, for example, I've got a £6,000 limit. I would create a £6,000 invoice for my company and call it a director's loan invoice, and then I'd pay it using the 0% credit card. So now I transfer that £6,000 from the personal credit card in one lump sum to the company accounts. Now that's a very clear loan, and then I cycle it within the company using the company's credit cards and debit cards, and also cashback credit cards and stuff. So it just makes it a bit easier. So that'd be my kind of advice. Don't go spending it on the personal. It just comes a bit of a pain for accounting purposes, and also as well, it's just easier if you just make it a very clear transaction across for accounting. Small exclusivity agreement whilst doing OA. Worth pursuing. Have you ever chased that part of business? No, it's something which people talk about. I know the next level above that. But also as well, I know people who have had exclusivity agreements with wholesale, done really well, grown the businesses, and all of a sudden the not wholesale, like the manufacturer, pulled the rug, just copied the whole inventory model and did it themselves for half the price, and that business has gone out of business. So exclusivity agreements are great, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be honoured both sides. And the other one is because the guy said, like, we have a watertight agreement, but he said, like, the manufacturer just said, if you try taking it to court, we'll just tie you up in so much legal for so long, it's going to ruin your business. So it's like, it's not worth fighting. That's the thing. It's like, while they have a good agreement, it's not worth the fight. That's the problem. So yeah, is it worth pursuing? No, I'm not really interested. I will do. Not right. Zoe, thanks for the great answers. As for the team, what would be the average daily leads per team? We don't do leads per team per store. We don't do that. Like, you can't. I couldn't go to Walmart today and guarantee I'm going to get X number of leads. It doesn't matter. As a good rule of thumb, what we do say is that each VA will generally generate about £10,000 in the UK, by the way, of spend per week. After about month 6. There's a rough rule of thumb. After month 3, it's only 1,333. It's like it goes like that. So don't kind of expect like great things the first 3 days, 3 months. Do it, it's long term. This is all about building a team in the long term. After 1 year, wow, you get purchasing managers, everything. Now you can come travel the world, come have some cocktails with me. But we don't track, look, monitor leads per day per store. We're not interested in that. What's your opinion on the mentor? Cool. Yeah, happy days. Do it. Like, do it. If it's long, just make sure you like. I'm really not against them, but I think the real question you got to define is like, let's say for example tomorrow you're gonna let's say if you want me to come mentor you. I'm not saying I'm even any good, but the idea is like, okay, cool. Well, before we even start mentoring, what do you want? What's the result? What are you looking to achieve? What's the thing in your business, in your life, or whatever it is that you want to change? Why did you come to me? What's that? And before you even start getting into mentorship, you've got to define what does success look like. Stephen Covey's habits of highly effective people start with the end in mind. What's the goal? What does the end look like? So define that, and once you've defined that, then go look for a mentor. Tell them what you want to change. See if they can help you. See how much they want to charge you. Cool, happy days. If they can do it, great. And at the end of the day, like, my God, I won't lie. I spend like $10,000 a year, on Tony Robbins coaching, and that is like a 20-minute call every other week. But it has generally changed my life and my business like massively, and that's in 2 years. So 10,000 is a lot of cash, but it's had a profound impact. So yeah, I'm not against it at all. Last question today, Hanson. Struggling to find info on which user missions to link to certain metrics and set essential. Do you have any videos or documents? No, no. It's just a trial and error. The only one we do is like add product and shipping. That's for just sources. That's it. So that's the only other one. Final question, wholesale. Would you ever do wholesale? Yeah, we do wholesale now in the UK. Just started. PL, maybe, not yet. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. It has been a nice 1 hour. Thank you so much for your questions. If you've got any other questions, I see a few more coming in. Ask them next week. I do have a couple of businesses to run. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everything else. It's been a real pleasure. And if you do like this, give me a big thumbs up on the YouTube or Facebook like. And I will love you and leave you and see you next week. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.